Back here at Daytona International Raceway, just past the bottom of the hour. It is the season opener for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Glad that you're with us. We have had 5 different leaders with 5 lead changes. We've had 3 cautions for a total now of 11 laps, soon to be 12. Our leader is Greg Biffle right now, as he's a few cars back. They're getting the wave around right there. Here he is in the 27 car. And Danica Patrick has moved into the 27th position. She got the Aaron's lucky dog. And let's take it back during the commercial break. We told you about how pit stops could be crucial. Let's show you what happened.
Whoa. All right, you go ahead, be easy on the motor. Switch.
Had that been green flag, that would have been a disaster.
Yeah, that would have cost her dearly there. And you got to be careful with the clutch and all the running gear right there. Like Dale said, these cars are geared real high, and it's difficult to get out of that pit stall.
Yeah, and that's a natural thing that's going to happen after they tell you not to over-rev the motor. You're going to stall it out. That's not, that's partly being a rookie, but you see other guys. Carl Edwards did it a while ago, too.
2 wave arounds to tell you about. 62 of Brennan gone and Stanton Barrett in the 31. We've got 31 total cars on the lead lap right now. 4 cars are out of the race. Bliss, Bain, Teague, and Chrissy Wallace. Men's college basketball action continues on ESPN Saturday primetime, and SEC Showdown. Number 12 Tennessee visits Rupp Arena to battle number 2 Kentucky. Saturday primetime presented by DirecTV. It's all part of Rivalry Week, presented by Cisco on ESPN at 9 Eastern. Coverage begins with College Game Day, driven by State Farm at 8 Eastern. For more, just log on to ESPN.com. Let's check in with Dr. Jerry Punch.
Guys, remember we told you Kevin Harvick had made a major investment in the offseason with a new pit crew to see how they would do. Here's what he had to say about their first stop of the year.
If we lose this race because of a pit stop, I'm going to have a freaking heart attack.
Yeah, 10-4. Hopefully they got that bad one out of the way. We'll hopefully get her done from here on out.
Stop coaches, new shoes, higher salaries, slower pit stops. Doesn't add up. I think you guys are getting tired. Everybody laughing on you at you on pit road.
Obviously, Kevin, not a happy camper right now. As we go back to green flag racing, it's Biffle, Kyle Busch, Menard, Keselowski, Riggs. That's your top 5. Harvick is all the way back to 13th. That's why he's mad.
He was one of the cars there that took on 4 tires, a little different strategy than what some of these other ones did that had just been in not too many laps ago.
Keep an eye on that 6th place car, Scott Riggs. Remember, this is an unsponsored race machine right now. We talk about opportunities to bring on a sponsor. You do real well in this race. It has a tendency to get people's attention.
Well, that's certainly why they're here, hoping that they can have some good things to happen where they can get some dollars to fund this team and continue to race.
Looking further back in the pack, Danica still trying to find that comfort level. She's still leaving about a car length and a half before she gets up underneath somebody.
Yeah, and that's just something that takes time and experience to get used to what you can do with this and what you have to do if you're going to continue to hold on to that draft.
Oh, what's going to happen? You see a big pack right now. That's going to separate. You're going to have probably 2 or 3 packs in about 10 or 12 laps. She needs to make sure she's at the head of these things so she can stay with the faster cars. She needs to try to be more aggressive in this situation.
Coming down the backstretch now, still Biffle holding station. Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch duking it out for 2nd and 3rd. Riggs doing a real nice job in that 09. Tucked down on that low line. Here comes Junior to the middle of the racetrack. If somebody goes with him, here comes Smoke. That'll give him some help. It's Menard that may be left out on the high side.
Yeah, when you see drivers like this go to that middle, most time you say you don't want to be there, but they'll generally get some help, and it makes it look like that really works well.
Paul Menard saying, fellas, what'd you do to me? What did I do? He had worked his way all the way back up to 4th, but now he's getting the NASCAR Daytona shuffle all the way back as, boy, Scott Riggs now up to 4th.
And you see Kyle Busch jump to that outside to get that push from Dale Jr. and Tony.
See, Scott Riggs, yeah, he's made up 35 spots since the start of the race.
Just real impressed with the leader of this race, Greg Biffle, and this race team. They've been fast the entire time down here.
Remember, that's Baker Curb Racing, as he'll be running a limited schedule with them. And right now, out in front, back, there's checking in. There's Brendan Gaughan right behind Danica Patrick. Eric McClure on the high side. And you talked about losing contact. There's a lot more gap there from the last time we checked.
Yeah, she's doing what she needs to do there. She cars in front of her had to get out of the throttle. She took advantage of it. She was 3 wide for just a moment. That's what she needs to do right now.
Look at Kevin Harvick in the 33 trying to slice up the middle. Let's get an update on Kyle Busch as we watch all this action from Dave Burns.
Marty, sometimes the only way you can win at Daytona is to get partners to work with. But what if you're Kyle Busch, and what if you've been feeling a little lonely out there? Listen to his radio.
Why is it that it seems that I have nobody that wants to work with me? Because they're already scared to death you're going to beat them. They don't want to help you.
Well, Jason Ratcliffe, the crew chief, told me this morning that getting this car to handle is the most important thing. You heard Kyle talk about that in our countdown show today. If they got a great handling race car, he's already proven he can keep it at the front of the pack. If he can just get someone to help him a little bit.
Well, it looks like another car has gotten shuffled to the middle as Carl Edwards got underneath the... Looked like Scott Riggs and sort of pushed him back a few spots.
Yeah, I think Scott Riggs is thinking the same thing Kyle Busch is. I want somebody to work with me here. I got a good car. I'm up here. And they just hung him right in the middle.
Yeah, I can tell Kyle Busch, when he set all the records that he set last year, people get a little bit envious of things like that, so they're probably not going to be too willing to help him add something else to his resume.
How about Brad Keselowski in this 22 car? He's come all the way from the back now, and he's got this thing really going toward the front.
Transmission linkage. Thought they were going to have a problem right at the start of the race. It has not reared its ugly head. He is in second spot, side by side with Kyle Busch. Right behind him, Carl Edwards in the 60 and the 88 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. And there is Tony Stewart right behind the 88.
Yeah, looking at this 22 car, Brad Keselowski up there, I think we all questioned a little bit, how strong would they be? Adding a second team over there at Roger Penske's in the Nationwide Series, did they have the people and the resources to get it all done to come out here strong? I think he's answering our question. Dave?
And DJ, they pulled from a number of different teams, including CGM Racing, JTG Racing, Baker Curb, Hendrick Motorsports, KHI, and put together a really solid group for this race. But they said one of the most important things was Brad's presence at the shop. He knows these race cars. He spent time with us, and he's the one who's got us most pumped up about coming to Daytona.
He's pumping that throttle pedal right now as he and Kyle Busch try and track down our race leader, but those three are trying to pull away. Looking in again on Danica, and not close enough to do any bump drafting yet, and that's going to have to be the next stop on her learning curve, is to get up tight enough that she can push somebody.
It looks like they've got her car handling a little bit better, though. She's a little more aggressive this run.
Yeah, she's doing what she needs to do right now. She's still right there in that big group of cars. Speaking of a big group, look at this group.
You got
3 wide
Smoke.
for a minute.
Yeah, Smoke was pushing the 88. Here comes Carl. And on the high side, looks like we may have another lead change as if it can hold on at the stripe. As Brad Keselowski looks like he is going to lead this lap, and that will give us our 6th different leader.
Contact there between Michael Annett and Casey Kane in that 38 car.
And they're still 3 wide. And there is a lot of skating going on. Michael Annett's the only hockey player in that whole group in the 15.
Yeah, Casey told us in the pre-race show that his car wasn't to his liking, and I'm not sure they've gotten it there yet.
Well, there's teammates right there, the 38 and the 10, and oh, got a tire rub, it looks like, right in front of him.
Yeah, that's Michael Annett, and I think maybe that left rear might be rubbing a little bit after that contact.
Also in this mix, the 32 of Brian Vickers, as you can see him there on the high side of the track. Let's get an update on his situation from Jamie.
He actually has a very damaged race car on those last round of pit stops. It was Bobby Gerhardt who checked up in front of Brian Vickers and smashed Vickers' nose. The good news is his temperatures are good right now, and even better news, he can still use the bumper, and he's just going nothing but forward, Marty.